Pleasant good afternoon to everyone. Students, we are so glad to have you back with us today. So we are still awaiting our first presenter. Our presenter will be with us shortly, so give us about 5 minutes or a little more, and then we will come back and start today's proceedings. Okay? Thank you. Hi students, good afternoon once again. Thank you for being so patient with us as we have some technical difficulties this evening. However, we are about to begin and I wanted to take this opportunity to welcome all of you again to our virtual career fair 2021. On your screen, you should be seeing some numbers. These are the numbers that you will use today if you have questions or queries that you want to send in. Also, you can post your questions on the YouTube link, and as much as we see them, we'll be able to raise them to the presenters on your behalf. So as we begin, we want to outline some netiquette rules that we want you all to follow today. Today, we are saying that we want you all to be respectful of each other. We are saying that it is essential to keep in mind the feelings and opinions of others. So in the chat, you will see persons posting different things. They may post a different career occupation or a different idea from you, but we are asking you all to please be respectful and mindful of the things that you type and say in the chat to each other. If you will not say it to someone's face, then you should not say it online either. Do not post or share any private or inappropriate material online. Please, when you are typing your questions, use clear and concise language. Try to avoid slang terms, right? Because not everyone may understand the slangs that you may be using. So try as much as possible to use proper grammar. Also, Be careful with sharing personal information. Try to avoid using too much humor and sarcasm because it could be easily misunderstood online. Participate wisely, sorry. Make sure to ask your questions. This career fair is for you to get as much information as you can to help you in your decision making with regard to your future, your careers, etc. All right. So thank you for being so patient once again. And shortly we will be beginning with our first presenter for today. All right, so we are back, students, and we are ready to kick off our virtual career fair for today. We are beginning our presentations this evening with the Youth Training and Employment Partnership Program, that's YTEP, and we have Ms. Joanna Andrews and her team who is going to be sharing some really good information with you. So thank you very much to YTEP, to the team, for coming and sharing to our students today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to say welcome to all the students and also to Ms. Vechu and her team that made today possible. I want to introduce myself, Johanna Andrews from the Corporate Communications Department. To my right is Kendall Norrie, our Center Manager for Valencia. And to his right, Veron Sam, our Communications Assistant from the Communications Department. And of course, we have here Donaldson from the IT, who is handling all our technical operations today. To you, the students, YTEP Limited is your map to the world of work. This is an exciting time for you. I know you are in Form 3 and you have a while yet to go, but from our experience, this is a new beginning for you. We want to say to all the students from the Victoria district, I understand that by the time the day is out, will be over 2,000 of you all. Like all the other providers, YTEP Limited is happy to share this online moment with you. YTEP Limited is an agency of the Ministry of Education. We are also an agent for technical vocational education and training, an area in which we are very proud. And from our upcoming videos, you will understand why we are very proud of what we do here at YTEP. YTEP Limited will also help you shape your roadmap to your future. So today we want you to listen well to the upcoming videos as you are about to gain an experience that will add value to your future plans.
more we give importance to skill development, the more likely it would lead to empowered youth. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and their stories have the power to transform young lives. Youth Training Director at YTEP Limited, Josanne Moses, shared her perspective on vocational skills training.
Department targets persons between the ages of 15 to 35 years. Our ideal or our goal is really to offer technical and vocational education to these persons. Now, while technical and vocational education is considered to be for persons that are less academically inclined, the truth is technical and vocational education is really the birthplace of education. Here it is really the marriage of science, math, and skill. And it is for this reason this training department is really geared towards providing trainees with an opportunity to be exposed to these disciplines that would allow for employability skills or entrepreneurial opportunities.
What makes the Youth Training Department stand out amongst others?
So while the Youth Training Department really targets persons between 50 and 55, what we have accepted is that target audience remains the same, but generation actually changes. So presently, we are catering to the needs of the millennials and Gen Zs. Those persons have an acumen to technology, accepting that those persons are geared towards technological advances. We have now shifted our program offering to blended stream of learning. So apart from coming to the center to acquire the skills, you actually have an opportunity to complete your program, part of it utilizing blended technologies, online, internet, media platform, etc. We have also identified that literacy, or most of our trainings would require some literacy support. So upon registration, they are given the opportunity to be assessed. Once we have identified those trainees with a need, they are now encouraged with the support of Powell Publishing to complete a literacy program in the comforts of their homes. They are not required to go into any classroom. They simply interact with a platform and they are learning at their own speed.
How has the Youth Training Department been successful?
So as I mentioned before, our program is really geared towards providing persons with employability skills and entrepreneurial opportunities. Now, I'd like to place emphasis on our certified well-being and foundation program. Also, in the Youth Training Department, persons who are enrolled in that particular program are afforded the opportunity to complete their training at companies. We have 3 companies where we signed memorandums of understanding with. The first is Carrier, the second is Hydrogen, and the third is Metalex. Now, upon completion of their training, whether it is a very unique skill, you often find that most of our trainees get employment with these said companies or their partners. Apart from that particular program, we have found that persons who are enrolled in the child care or patient care stream of our training would have also been given an opportunity to pursue rewarding careers. Now, part of their program really has an internship, and that internship allows them to actually go to our hospitals or local nursing homes in order to have the opportunity to perform the acquired skill on live patients. So to answer your question, yes, our programs are designed to enable trainees to get immediate employment or entrepreneurial opportunities.
YTEP's Youth Training Department and what it means.
I started off by saying that TVET is really the birthplace of innovation, and I want to emphasize how critical it is in our landscape. COVID-19 would have really demonstrated the value that persons with technical and vocational skills is needed in the operation of our society. If we have to recall the persons who were given an opportunity to work during the stay-at-home order, it was only the plumbers, the electricians, the carpenters, those persons who are responsible for food production, etc. We were given exceptions to be able to work while everybody else had to stay home. I have actually been fascinated by my name tech. You know, I have accepted that she probably makes a lot more money than I do, where I would move to visit her for 2 or 3 weeks per month. I would be paid a minimum of $400 for 2 hours. And when I make a comparison, I am required to have so many other skills in order to perform my duties. I am being paid approximately the same $400 per week. So my advice to young persons is, while technical and vocational education is perceived as second-class education, the reality is we are leaving the field. And if you really want to make the best decision for yourself. Consider a life for a career in skills development.
Tomorrow's here with our present field. So we are looking for tomorrow, we are looking at the head, we are looking at quarter, we are looking at what is to come. So we want you to look at yourself as a business leader. Get involved in our micro entrepreneurship program, teaching us how to set up, maintain, and bring forward a small, a micro mini business and be successful. Encouraging young people to get into it. The world of work is dependent on you to create, to stimulate our economy. So we look forward to you at Valencia, at Diego Martin, at Bologna, at Tobago TTC. We look for you at Beluga, Signature Creation, and Woodford Lodge. And let me just say, Woodford Lodge is the creme de la creme. That is where we have our IOC and our IC. IOC is our Institute of Cosmetology, and our IC is our Institute of Culinary Art. Specialized program just for you. The program does not have many fellows my age. It would be nice. I'm not my age here.
Fantastic. So we gave you a preview of what life is at YTEP Limited. We know that, as I said before, we know that you're only in Form 3, but if you listen to the videos, you will recognize that all the presenters spoke about how prepared YTEP Limited is to fully engage you by the time you are through with your secondary school education. And you begin on a journey of understanding what technical vocational education and training really is and how important it is. As you would have heard Ms. Moses mention, that YTEP Limited goes beyond. In that, we prepare you for the world of work. We also recognize that having partners is critical. So you would have heard Ms. Moses mention about Caridoc, Metalex, Hydrotech, and these are just a few of the external companies that have partnered with YTEP over the years to ensure you, the young, bright minds of Trinidad and Tobago, not only get the skills training from YTEP, but you also get the hands-on training from YTEP through our partners. So as we continue with our delivery today, we want to now introduce our question and answers segment. In that, our panel in Kendall and Veron will now take questions from the panel that is there with Ms. Bechu and transpose all the questions to us. And we are more than happy to answer. And at the end of the delivery, we just want you to know that it has been a pleasure being here with you today. So over to Ms. Bechu.
Hello, Miss Andrews. All right, so students were having a little challenge sharing the video. So I don't know if you all can give a summary of the information, and then we'll entertain the questions that they may have based on what you share. Thanks a lot.
Yes, not a problem at all, Ms. Bechu. Sorry about that. What the videos, there were 4 videos. The first video the students would have seen on the screen is our youth training director, Ms. Josanne Moses, who gave a very clear understanding of how critical our role at YTEP is in the success of our young men and women. She would have mentioned through her delivery that technical, vocational, and education training is an important aspect in the whole understanding of how you as a young person can actually come to an institution like YTEP Limited and learn a skill. She would have also mentioned how much more that skill is in. We go beyond in also getting our stakeholders, our external stakeholders, to come in and ensure that you are able to have hands-on training. So yes, there's hands-on training at YTEP, and YTEP Limited has also partnered with some companies such as Caridoc, Metalex, Hydrotech, to name a few, where our trainees are able to have external hands-on. So her delivery was very clear on our passion for you, the students. And the second video, Mr. Norrie expressed several information. He shared information concerning the different centers. And I know we are trying to give you an overview of what each video entails. So I would let Mr. Norrie have a chat with you as it pertains to what he was saying in his video.
Okay, so what we are trying to explain is that we're not trying to prepare persons for the world of work that is past, but more in a futuristic overview. So you want to prepare persons for the world of work that is to come. So we want you all to understand that we don't only want you to just learn a skill, but also to look at yourselves as being young entrepreneurs, that you too can stimulate the economy. So we were looking at all of our centers in Valencia. We have centers in Tobago, Moruga, Signature Creations, Point Lisas, Diego Martin, Maloney, Pittsburgh, that provides the same type of trading in different skill sets. All right, so we are all across the country, and we are looking forward for you, the young persons of Trinidad and Tobago, to be enrolled in our programs so that you too can acquire skills and look at establishing your own business. Yes? Back over to Joanna.
Ms. Bechu, are you still there with us? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Right, so Mr. Norrie just gave a simple discussion on an actual overview of the second or third video shown today. One thing I want to say to the students is that I really hope that they were able to see the last video. Mr. Jamel Johnson, one of our trainees in electrical installation, Indigo Martin, and he spoke about his experience as a YTEP trainee and what it really meant to him and how important it is to have that hands-on, that ability to have hands-on training. And that's one of the important things about TVET, the ability to have, to touch, to feel, to smell, to experience, to have that experience. That's one of the things we are very proud of. Ms. Bechu, are you prepared with questions that our panel can begin to assist with?
So students, at this point in time, if you all have any questions, feel free to send your questions to the WhatsApp phone numbers that we have indicated throughout the week, or you can put your questions on the chat, the YouTube link itself, the chat. All right, and we will answer accordingly. All right, so anyone with questions, let me check and see if we have gotten any questions. One of the questions I know a lot of students will have is in terms of after secondary school, how do you gain entry into YTEP? So maybe you could answer that one for now.
Okay, so I'm going to pass you over to both Kendall and Veron, who are quite equipped to have those responses.
Hello, everyone. So once you have finished secondary school and you are between the ages of 15 and 35 years old, you are a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, all you have to do is apply online via YTEP's Facebook page or our website. We will provide a link for you. Apply to that link. You click on that link, you fill a registration form, an application form, and you complete the form. Once you have completed the form, it comes back to us, and once successful, then and only then you will be required to pay the $200 registration fee to complete the registration process.
All right, I have a student here. She's asking, do you all offer cosmetology courses?
Yes, we do. We have cosmetology courses.
And is there a cost attached to doing the course?
No, we just have a one-time registration fee of $200.
Okay.
I have a student who wants to know if there are any qualifying subjects that they need to get into YTEP.
There are certain courses that we would normally have prerequisites, but to say subjects, no. Once you're willing to learn, you're a citizen and you fall within the age group, you can just register, and we start from basics, so we can accommodate anybody.
A student is asking if you all still pay a stipend for attending classes.
Yes, we do. We do pay a stipend. Most of the courses, they do attract a stipend.
Several students want to know what types of courses do you all offer.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the courses that we have presently running, we have patient care assistant, we have childcare attendant, we have skills to the automated office, we have plumbing, we have basic welding, we have wrought iron fabrication, we have micro entrepreneurship, bread cakes and pastries, food preparation, graphic design, electrical installation, plumbing, small business management, events decoration as well, events decorating. And that's at most centers, you can get those courses.
And what is the average length of each course?
The average length, the courses would run sometimes between 6 to 8 months. Yeah. Some courses may require a little bit more, So they may run a little bit longer than the average course, but most courses would end around 6 months. Some would go probably to about 8 months. But most times it's between 6 and 7 months.
Ms. Bechu, are you there?
Yes, a student is asking if any of the courses will enable her to become a teacher at your institution.
Well, yes, because it's a stepping stone, but it will require a little bit more because to be realistic, you can't just learn the level that you're tutoring. You have to be at least one level above what you want to tutor. So we may give you the first level, and it would be up to you to matriculate into a higher program that's going to give you additional skills and knowledge and science behind the different courses to being able to teach the programs by us.
Ms. Bechu, before we go to the next question, can you give us a little guide of how much more time do we have?
Ms. Mendoza, do you have a time check on the time? What time remaining?
All right, so I believe we should be wrapping up around 1:55. So we have around 4 minutes again.
Okay.
All right, so we still have time to take some more questions. And while we are waiting for any questions coming in, I'll still ask Ms. Sam, who is quite versed in the, not just the registration process, but other questions that we have students ask all the time on our social media platform. And Ms. Bechu, if you have any questions from the trainees, from the students, sorry, while Ms. Sam is speaking, just let us know and we'll take those questions.
Okay, sure, no problem.
I'll pass you over to Ms. Sam because I'm certain what she has to say is very valuable to the students, even though they're in Form 3. Yeah, Maran, on any aspect of which the questions that they would normally ask that wasn't asked at the moment.
Let me just
Well, go ahead.
Let me just, okay, so with the new normal now, what would happen though is that because we're trying to maintain the COVID protocols, what we would have is persons having to do their theory online. So one of the prerequisites for those programs is that you would have to have a device that's going to enable you to access the programs that we have online. So a lot of your theory is going to be online. Some of the courses have Moodle aspects where you would have to go on and do assignments online as well. So you would need a device that is going to equip you to be able to navigate yourself through the programs as well as to be able to come to do our face-to-face sessions as well. All right, so it's going to be a blended program. So you're going to have some that's going to be online. A lot of your theory is going to be online, and then you're going to have your practical sessions where you're going to get that hands-on training, you know, at the different locations. So you can expect to be online at some times, and then sometimes you'd have to be at the center to have the entire program together. Yeah.
Okay, so Ms. Bechu, I realize we just have a few more minutes, and at this time I'd like to ask Veron to, did you get any further questions, Ms. Bechu?
No, I did not. I don't know if my colleagues got any further questions. But I
Right,
don't.
so I am glancing some questions here. Do you all have any programs with regard to graphic design?
Graphic design, any courses on graphic design?
Well, one of the courses is graphic design, actually. So yes, we have graphic design, and we have it at both, we have it at Maloney, Valencia, Diego Martin, and I think Maruga, Fifth Company, correct? Yeah?
Ms. Bechu?
Yes.
Okay, any more questions?
All right.
I'm not sure if, but one question, would you mind repeating all of your centers across the country for our students one more time?
Okay, not a problem. So we have centers in Fifth Company, which is in Moruga. We have Tobago TTC, that's Tobago Technology Center, and Signal Hill as well. We also have Signature Creations, which is in San Fernando. We have Diego Martin. We have Pittsburgh, Maloney, Valencia. And then we also have training at Metalex, Hydrotech, and Caridox Limited.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a student who wants to know if you all offer technical drawing as a course, and
I didn't hear the rest of the question.
a student wants to know if you all offer technical drawing as a course, and another wants to know if you all offer any computer course.
Okay, so in terms of technical drawing, we had some short courses previously that dealt with AutoCAD, and that was probably the closest to technical drawing, which is practically technical drawing on the system. Yeah, and the second question was
Computer courses.
computer courses. Skills for the Automated Office is actually one of our computer courses, which more or less designed to take up that administrative office type work, you know, where you're going to use the computer and you do different things like Excel, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, and so forth. Yes?
All right. So I know we have a lot of questions that may be coming in still. However, I would invite students to please contact YTEP directly, go onto their website, and you'll get some further information, because we will definitely have to wrap up this session at this point. However, we want to say thank you so much to the team at YTEP for being so patient and for facilitating us today and for coming on and sharing the information with our students. We are so appreciative. So thank you very much to Ms. Andrews and the team at YTEP.
Ms. Bechu, it has been our pleasure. I want to end now with Ms. Sam just giving a thank you on our behalf also.
She's still there?
Yeah, they're there.
So we want to say thank you to everybody who logged on. We know your time is very valuable, but thank you for spending this few minutes with us. And I know for those of you who have so many more questions to ask but didn't get it in, you can email us at info@ytep.edu.tt and we would respond.
Thank you very much. All right, students. So this is the end of our first session for today. We have just around a few minutes, around 3 minutes or so. If you could bear with us, take a break, get your refreshments, go to the washroom, and come back on so that we'll start our second presentation. Okay? Thank you. All right, students, so we are ready to go again. So we are going on to our second session for the evening. And today we have with us Miss Payson, and she is representing the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago, and she's going to share some wonderful information with you all. All right, feel free. You all can post your questions in the chat as well as send your questions to the WhatsApp numbers that were given previously. So thank you very much, Ms. Payson, for taking time from your schedule to be here with us today. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for inviting the Sport Company to participate in your career fair. I think it's a fantastic idea as we adapt to this new way of working and operating in the virtual environment. So good afternoon to all the Form 3 students who are with us this afternoon. I'm Ruan Payson, the HR manager at the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited. I'm not sure if you've heard of us, but we are the organization that's associated with the Ministry of Sport and Community Development with responsibility for the National Stadia of Trinidad and Tobago. So just to give you a little history of the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago was established in 2004 as a special interest company geared toward the management, administration, and operations and programming of sport, as well as the construction and operational maintenance of the sporting facilities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We are the premier organization for development of sport, athletes, and sporting organizations in Trinidad and Tobago. So basically what that means is if you look around your communities, you may know of the Hazley Crawford Stadium, the Maniram John Stadium in South. We have the Arthur Bolden Stadium in Central. Sport Company is responsible for operating and maintaining those facilities. There are actually over 12 stadia in Trinidad and Tobago that we have responsibilities for. There are some special interest facilities that we have. The National Aquatic Center, which is located at our Couva facilities. We also have the National Cycling Velodrome that is also located in Couva. We have the National Racket Center, which is located in Tacarigua. And we also have a basketball facility, which is located in Sandy Grande. Now, what's special about our nationals, as we call them, is that these are world-class facilities dedicated to their specific type of sport. So as I was mentioned, we have the National Aquatic Center that's located in Couva that is dedicated to aquatic sports. So we've had water polo championships hosted there. We've also conduct our regular selections for our swimming competitions at that facility. We also have what is called a dry dive room located there where people can practice diving, and we have high dive platforms, etc. located there. We have our National Cycling Velodrome, which is where most of our cycling sports take place. Our cycling athletes like Nicholas Paul would train at those facilities. Justine Phillip would also be training there as well. And also the Volleyball Association of Trinidad and Tobago uses that facility for their training as well. So when we talk about sport, some of the things that people automatically think about is the sport that they would play in their community, whether it is cricket, football, basketball. Now we have things like dragon boat. We also have swimming in general, golf as well. But during the COVID-19 pandemic, we haven't been able to play as much as we would like to, in particular with the contact sports. So Sport TT has taken this opportunity to get ready for when we can play again. We normally deal with the national governing bodies. So in Trinidad and Tobago, we have national governing bodies who are responsible for the different types of sport that we have or that are played. So you'll have the, as you all may know, TTFA, Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, which is responsible for football in Trinidad. They are also linked to FIFA, the international body that governs the sport of football. We have our Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board, who is affiliated with the West Indies Cricket Board and then the ICC as well. So that's the international cricket community as well. And all of those liaise with Sport Company as we seek to improve our athletes, improve the facilities that we have for persons to play, and also improve opportunities for young persons to get involved in the sporting industry. When we think of sport, it's not just about athletes here at the Sporting Company of Trinidad and Tobago. So while the athletes are those who would use our facilities, we also provide other services. And in the world of sport, there are numerous careers that you can get involved in. So most people would think that being the professional athlete is the thing to be at sport or in the sporting industry. If we look at, let's say, Usain Bolt, who is one of the more popular Caribbean athletes or Caribbean sporting personalities. I don't know if you all know, but beyond the track, Usain Bolt kind of made something around 10 million US per year just in endorsements. And that's based on his Puma contract. So just by wearing the brand Puma, Usain Bolt takes home something like 10 million US a year. But there are people who support Usain Bolt in him accomplishing his goals as being the fastest man on earth at that point in time. Sport TT has these type of persons working with us. So we have the field of sports psychology, because in order for the athletes to get mentally prepared to participate in things like the Olympics, in the World Championships, in any type of competition, you have to be mentally prepared, emotionally prepared as well. So there's this field of sports psychology that looks at things like that. So you're in Form 3. You probably like to sweat a little small goal here and there. You may have an interest in tennis or swimming or karate mixed martial arts, and you're looking at getting involved beyond being an athlete. You have fields like wellness, so nutritionists, that's something that you can consider getting involved in. We have trainers, and not just gym trainers, strength and conditioning trainers. So persons who look at getting or training the athletes to be the best that they can be, looking at their form in the particular sport, providing them with those training plans, those gym routines that they have to go through, doing the testing. We have the realm of sport scientists. So those are ones who look at the athletes, their performance, look at how they could improve, look at who's the best in the field at this point in time and things that they are doing and how we can improve our athlete performances. We have persons who look at the coaches because we know most athletes have coaches. What are the skills that you need in order to be a coach? What do you have to do to help motivate that athlete to be the best that he could be? What are some of the um, activities that the athlete will have to get involved in? If you're familiar with the sporting world, depending on the sport that you're interested in, you know that yesterday Tiger Woods would have gotten into an accident. Many are speculating that he may not be able to walk again. But we have physiotherapists who work at sport, who are involved in the sporting industry as well, who will be there to help Tiger get back on his feet and possibly even see if he can get back into golf as well. I don't know if we have any tennis fans among us who would have been watching tennis last week or so. Serena came this close again to matching the what seems to be elusive right now target of most Grand Slams. But even in her press conference after, Naomi has always said that she has looked up to Serena. You would have seen in the press conference, Serena would have stormed out after because it was a hard day for her. She said it was a hard day and that she made mistakes. The sports psychologist step in there. Beyond that, when we look at the sports company, I would have mentioned that we are also responsible for maintaining facilities. So some of those community development grounds that you see, some of those savannas and play areas that you have right now that people can once again go out and play, no more than 22, according to the Ministry of Health's latest regulations, can get out on the field to play at this point in time. But we have those facilities and we help build and maintain some of those facilities. So at the sport company, we have specific units associated with us. The sport development and performance unit, those are the ones that liaise with the national governing bodies to help provide funding, to help provide programs for the up and coming athletes. Then we have the elite development and performance unit. They are the ones who deal with those athletes who are podium bound, as we call them. So the Keyshawn Walcotts, Jacine Phillip, Nicholas Paul, those guys would work with our elite development performance unit to be at the peak of their game when it goes into those key championships like the Olympics. We also have the projects and construction management department. And as the name implies, those are persons who deal with the construction of the stadia and the community development grounds, those sporting grounds that you have in your different communities and play with. So some of the careers that you find in that area, in that department, you'll find quantity surveyors, civil engineers, project managers, project engineers. When you're looking at getting into the other side of the sporting industry, so we're not the ones who are actually going out and playing sports, those who are the support services to sport. Institutions like the University of Trinidad and Tobago and even the University of the West Indies, they have certifications in sport management, in sport psychology as well. So this is where the educational path will take you if you're looking at getting into the sporting industry in the support services side of it. So as a Form 3 student, you're looking at getting a job or getting into a particular field of study to support that career that you're seeing yourself in. So most people, when looking for a career to choose, they're looking for a job, something that they'll have to do to sustain them. Most people look at the money part of things to see, well, how much money can I make doing this? Do I want to be a plumber or do I want to be a mechanic? Do I want to be a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor? One of the things that I want you to consider when choosing a career, do you want to have a job or do you want to have a work, or as we say in Trinidad, a walk? So you want to go out and get a walk so that you can make money to pay your bills. There is a difference. If you choose something that you love or you're passionate about as your job, you'll never have to work or have a walk a day in your life because you'll kind of feel fulfilled in what you're doing. So when you're looking at making that choice in your career, right now is an opportunity for you to explore all the avenues that are out there. Do you want a walk or do you want to have a job, something that you're passionate about that helps you earn money at the end of the day? When considering these things, look at your hobbies, look at the sports that you might be interested in and how you can seek to make a career out of that. And if that is something that you want to do.
Yes, Andy.
Does anyone have any questions about the sports company as yet? Or about careers in sport and the sporting industry? I know you're putting it in the chat and your teachers will be asking. Anyone has any questions as yet?
Okay, so we're still awaiting questions. Students, feel free to ask any questions pertaining to sports and the careers in sports.
One of the resources that we have at the sports company, of course, is that we have our website. The address is www.sportt-tt.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms. So LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, we're there as well. You can look for Sport TT and you'll find us there, sportt-tt.com is our website. Also on the website, you'll be able to see the different facilities that we manage and the NGBs that we deal with. Now, Sport Company deals with some of the NGBs and the Ministry of Sport and Community Development deals with others. We have responsibilities for 15 NGBs currently, and there are over 60 NGBs registered in Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, so I see a question here. A student is asking, how far can a career in sports take you?
So it depends on how far you want to go with it and which path you want to take. So let's look at the path of an athlete. You may start off being an athlete in your NGB. You may go to what is called professional status, represent the country, or get assigned to a professional team. So if we're looking at football, you can play intercal for your school. Then you can go on to join, let's say, the Super League and play for W Connection or AIA Caledonia or one of those. You can also look at going abroad to play, which is what most of our footballers do. So, for example, like Dwight York, he would have gone to England, played with Aston Villa. After that, what most professionals do, once they're coming to the end of their career as an athlete, they move into the coaching realm of things. So then you can become a certified coach and coach from there. Dwight York actually did become a coach and was coaching Aston Villa's under 16 team, I believe it was. And also, you can probably do like Shaka Hislop, who is now a newscaster. Even Atto Bolden is also a newscaster. So there are different stages in the career that you can get into if you're an athlete. Also, as an athlete, if you don't go into professional play, you can go into sport management, which is where you can look at managing athletes similar to yourself and become their representative. So negotiate for their deals, negotiate the contracts that they're going to have, negotiate for their endorsements and things like that. So those are some of the options that you have when you're looking at careers from an athlete perspective and the course that you can take where that's concerned. Any other questions so far?
Yes, Miss, one of the students wants to know what universities in Trinidad can you get sports programs at?
So currently the University of Trinidad and Tobago has a sport program, and also the University of the West Indies has a sports program. Sports management and sports sciences are the programs that they have. You can start off with psychology to do sports psychology so that if you are specifically dealing with athletes, those are the type of programs that you can get into. But also, Remember, we have the other side where it's not just the athletes we're dealing with, but we have the facilities to manage. So you have your regular engineering type careers where we would need industrial engineers, civil and construction engineers. Also, as in most organizations, we have the support services side of things, which is where you will find accountants, HR professionals. You'll also find event planners as well. So when you're looking at the sport industry, it's not just the athletes we're considering, but all of the things that are going into supporting that as well. We even have the initiative that the government is looking at in terms of sport tourism. So when we're talking about sport tourism, it's associated with all of the things that come into when we talk about sport. So one of the big sport tourism initiatives that we have is CPL. So before COVID, you would have had lots of people coming in to see CPL, participate in CPL. People would have been introduced to Trinidad and Tobago through CPL. Hotels would have gotten bookings because of CPL. The teams would have come in. We were had internationals coming into the country just to participate in CPL. So sport was bringing in revenue or helping to create jobs for persons in the tourism sector as well. So if we continue in that vein, not just in cricket, as I would have mentioned, we possibly have the aquatic sports. So if it's water polo, if it's swimming, you could get a tourism industry getting some revenue from sport through that as well. So it depends on what avenue you want to take. If you want to go down the road of the athlete, or if you want to stick in the support services side of things.
A question from a student in terms of what is the time frame for each course?
So a bachelor's degree normally runs for 3 to 4 years, and then you go into master's, which runs for an additional 2 years. You can start off at the end of your bachelor's degree, which is the 3-year period or 4-year period, depending on the school that you go to.
All right, so a student is asking, what subjects do you need to have to pursue either further training in sports or career in sports?
So again, it depends on which avenue you're looking at getting into. Generally, math, English, and biology. You'll understand why the biology. Physics also comes into play as well, depending on if you're going into the strength and conditioning aspect of things, or if you're going into coaching, you need to have management and sociology as well to get involved in that, as well as physical education, of course. Any other questions?
All right, so we have another question. How can someone go about making it to the national team, to our national team for any sport?
So the first thing I would advise you to do is find out about the national governing body for that sport and who are the teams or groups associated with the national governing body. Because the national governing body is the body that's responsible for identifying your high performing athletes, for conducting the testing, and for running competitions to identify the athletes who would be considered for podium ready or on that path to the podium. So depending on the sport that you're involved in, I would recommend that you find out who is the national governing body for that sport. You could reach out to them and find out about the teams that are associated with the national governing body in your area. I hope that helps. Any other questions, guys? So if you go on our Instagram channel, you will see a couple videos that we would have on athletes who are associated with the different NGBs, talking about what they're doing in preparation for getting ready to go out and play again. I know we're all waiting for the Olympics to start back. You'll be able to see and find out about key persons in the national governing bodies, how you can get in touch with them as well. And feel free to visit our website where you'll be able to see more about our facilities and more about some of the initiatives that we have going on currently at our facilities. So I'm just about to wrap up if anyone has any other questions.
Yes. How long does it take to become a fitness trainer?
Right. So we have certifications that can get you into being a fitness trainer once you have your basic physical education. You can go as much as 9 months to a year to be certified. And then, of course, you have the different levels of certification and the different types of fitness trainers that you have. You have CrossFit, you have strength and conditioning as well. So it's different types, and as short as 9 months, as long as 2 years.
All right, so we have a student asking, can taking part in zonals assist you in a career in sport? How far can it
Yes.
take you?
Yes, it does. Basically, if you take part in zonals, it's a way of identifying you. Normally, what happens is, depending on your performance at the zonals, you may have a club that may approach you to train with them. The clubs are the ones who are normally associated with the national governing bodies. So if we're talking zonals, let's say we're talking about athletics. So the national governing body for athletics is the N3As. Their main office is located in Couva. They normally look at persons in zonals. And also you'll find that you have different clubs in different communities that are associated with the N3s. And again, the national governing bodies are the ones who run the competitions to help identify persons to be participants on the national teams. So like those who go to the Olympics and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Any other questions so far? All right, so I'm not seeing any other questions at this point.
Okay, so thank you all for inviting us and having us here. I want to admonish you guys that the sport industry is not just about the athletes. You have all of those groups who help support the athletes to get them to the podium. And even after you're a professional athlete, you can also get into the other aspects of things such as coaching and providing support to up and coming athletes. There are some athletes who form foundations, non-profit organizations to help in preparing other athletes or in simply giving back to the country and the community at large. There are also need for facilities where these sports can be played. So you can also look at getting involved in stadium management and stadium operation. Facilities management is also another career that's associated with the sporting industry and all a part of the whole ecosystem that is sports. So again, thank you all for inviting me. I urge you to visit our website, check out our YouTube, our Instagram pages, well, if you're on Facebook, you can check out Facebook as well, but Instagram and Trisha and Twitter, we're there as well. So you can look us up and check us out there. So thank you all very much. And if there are no further questions, I hope you all have a great afternoon.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Payson. We are so happy that you came and you shared this information with our students today. We are so grateful that our students can hear about alternative careers, especially careers in sports. All right, so from the Student Support Services Division, Victoria District, from all our students, from all our staff in the district, we say thank you to the Sports Company of Trinidad and Tobago.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us again.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, all.
All right, so students, we are going well so far. What we are going to do at this point, we are going to take a 5-minute break, refresh yourselves, and come back on in 5 minutes where we will continue our career fair, Virtual Career Fair 2021. Thank you. All right, students. So while we await our third agency for the evening, they are already here and getting ready to come on to chat with you all a little bit. I want to share a video that would share some more information on the role of your guidance officer or counselor in the school. So as you know, the virtual career fair is being organized by your guidance officers and guidance counselors. So we just want to share with you a little bit more information about what we do. So now I'll share the video and then we'll get ready for our third presentation for this evening.
Hello, awesome students. Today we are going to talk about the role of the guidance officer. So, what does a guidance officer do? Guidance officers are here to help you. Services offered by guidance officers include classroom guidance, counseling, consulting, referrals, advocacy, information, and accountability. They provide classroom guidance, individual and group counseling, information following three components of guidance. Personal social guidance. Examples of personal social guidance lessons include making friends, resolving conflicts, coping skills, and puberty. Academic guidance. Examples of academic guidance lessons include listening skills, homework skills, and test-taking skills. Career guidance. Career guidance lessons involve career awareness, activities in exploring the world of work, and post-secondary education. How do I meet with the guidance officer? Let your teacher or parent know, or you can come into the office or send an email. Your guidance officer will schedule a time to meet with you.
Will the guidance officer tell others what we talk about?
Your conversation with your guidance officer is confidential. Except someone is hurting you, you want to hurt yourself, or you want to hurt someone else. To learn more about your students, guidance officers collaborate with teachers, family, and members of your community. Just remember, guidance officers
All right, so that was just some information on the role of your guidance officer or counselor. Now we are going to welcome to share with us today the National Institute of Higher Education Research, Science and Technology, or as we know it, NIHERST, and they are going to share some really good info with you all today. Remember, you have the WhatsApp numbers. Students, if you have questions, feel free to send in your questions or you can post them on YouTube. So thank you, NIHERST, for joining us today. We have Mr. Christopher Prout as well as Miss Roberta Bello, and they are going to share. Thank you very much.
Hello and good afternoon to the students, teachers, and everyone here with us today. I welcome you on behalf of the NIHERST team. We're here today to talk to you about careers in STEM. Firstly, my name is Christopher Prout, and I am the Fab Lab coordinator here at the National Institute of Higher Education, Research, Science, and Technology.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ms. Roberta Bello, and I am the Assistant Science Educator stationed at the National Science Center, the Division of NIHERST.
Right, as we've been invited here today, we're going to take you guys through a presentation we've developed just to give you some insight into a little bit about NIHERST and what we do. Just give us a moment. We seem to be experiencing a slight delay in our presentation. Right. So here the role, we're going to speak about the role in science and communication. So basically, NIHERST was established to promote technology, science, and higher education, while also looking at the innovative and creative and entrepreneurial capabilities of the population within Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. Our mission is to stimulate and sustain the national capability and capacity in science, technology, and innovation. Our vision is to envision a nation or region where scientific and technological innovative solutions can propel us into a more sustainable environment. So this means that persons can be able to go into more entrepreneurial ventures. This just goes into a little bit about the structure of NIHERST, where we have the National Science Center. We have various departments such as the Fab Lab or the Innovation Department, the S&T or Statistical Department, the Media Arts or Library. We also have the Policy and Research and Intelligence Unit, and we also have the International Projects Unit, who deals with international projects such as funds from the UN and brings innovations and different opportunities to persons throughout the country. So what is science communication? So basically, science communication is basically looking at all the aspects of science and communicating it in an informative and easy way for that persons can be able to understand and share the information which they've gained. So informing and educating is one of the key parts of science education. And here at the National Science Center and NIHERST as a whole, our main goal is really to popularize and share science for the wider population, so that persons would not look at science as something that they can't attain or unattainable, but something that they can work towards and use to help them throughout their daily lives. So scientific views are not mere opinions, but are science-based evidence. So these are things that are based on fact or some sort of logic behind it. So this is one of the main aspects of science that we try to promote, to show persons that through the use of science, we can actually have factual evidence to identify what is going on around us. As we are aware, climate change is currently, we're seeing the natural disasters around the world. So being able to see how science applies to this can help persons better shape their future by understanding what are the current constraints and finding ways to improve.
Now, in the past, we've had traditional science communication mediums such as magazines, newspapers, televisions, journals, public lectures, even radio. But now, with the advent of technology and the way that the world is moving, we have new ways of communicating science: websites, blogs, social media, wiki, and even podcasts, right? NIHERST's approach to science communication is to engage and entertain the audience while they are learning, right? And we have found that marrying all different aspects of learning and different strategies have been most effective throughout the years. We have strived to use all aspects of communication, all right, even as far as using theater arts to bring across science concepts to students, to individuals in the society as a whole, so that they would not only appreciate how science is enriching and improving their lives, but how they themselves can engage in science communication and find solutions to problems that they faced in their own local communities.
These are just some of the aspects of the opportunities that come out of NIHERST. So we have volunteer programs whereby we partner with different NGOs for different programs, whereby we will ask for the assistance of volunteers to come and assist us in these programs, such as the groups, either the Hero Foundation or some of the schools, secondary schools that have students who are involved in voluntary activities. We also have vacation camps where we normally take on camp counselors who would assist in terms of the dissemination of science through being a facilitator of our camps. We have part-time explainers. These are persons who work in the National Science Center during our normal activities, and they also are part of the team that works to share science for persons who come to visit the Science Center. We also have the NASA internship program where persons would be given an opportunity to actually go to NASA and spend a time in their internship program, and then they would come back and share from their experience. We also have the intellectual property seminar where we partner with the Trinidad and Tobago IP office, or the TTIPO. And this is where we normally talk to individuals about, or entrepreneurs about their ideas and how they can use their ideas or the various intellectual property related to their ideas, so they would know what the different types of rights they have with their ideas so that they can maximize the earning potential. We also have Fab Lab activities. So NIHERST is proud to be the first Fab Lab within Trinidad and Tobago. The Fab Lab is basically a space whereby entrepreneurs or businesses can come to the National Science Center if you have an idea, and we can work with you to develop that idea into a product, or if you want to go into a service. Right? Trendsetters. So these are basically the people who are behind the, as I say, the magic at NIHERST. So we have innovative, we have customer service, we have creative, we have problem solving skills, we have team player, critical thinking. Some of the subject areas you'll find like biology, mathematics, graphic arts, just to name a few. Now, one of the key things to note is that it's not always that you need to study a particular field. what you need to have is that innovative and that creative calling or that vibe. So meaning that it's one thing to study something, but being able to apply what you know is important in the work field. So persons, if you have a particular passion about a subject area that you're passionate about, you can see how you can maximize that potential to go either into a career or various possibilities for being an entrepreneur yourself.
Here at NIHERST, we encourage our visitors to develop 21st century skills because we know these skills are the stepping stones to very successful careers. We ourselves at NIHERST, the NIHERST family, we also utilize these very 21st century skills in all that we do, the events that we host, the productions that we do, all right? We utilize it. So we live what we teach. And this is the end of our presentation. We would like to show you a very short video on possible STEM careers.
Creative, and entrepreneurial capabilities of the general population. At the NIHERST National Science Center, we bring science to life in fun, interactive, and exciting ways. Today, we invite you to come and explore a few of the possibilities in STEM careers as we showcase some of our featured exhibits. One of our popular exhibits is The Raging Planet, which highlights some of the natural disasters that occur across the globe. If you have a keen interest in weather patterns or you are fascinated by natural disasters, then a career as a meteorologist, volcanologist, or seismologist may interest you. Important foundation subjects to have are geography, physics, and mathematics. Another one of our popular exhibits is the Forensic Science Corner. Are you a CSI enthusiast? Then you will enjoy this exhibit area. Most individuals instantly think of pathology when they hear the words forensic science, but it is a multidisciplinary field that includes other areas such as ballistics, art forgery, handwriting analysis, and toxicology. To pursue any career in the forensic science field, you would need foundation subjects such as mathematics, physics, biology, chemistry, and computer science. At the National Science Center, we constantly explore ways to show our visitors that science is part of all aspects of life. Our very own music studio demonstrates this, as this exhibit highlights how science and technology have enhanced the music industry and facilitated the development of assistive technologies. For example, hearing aids. If you are a musician at heart with a keen interest in science, then maybe you can see yourself as a sound engineer. Or you may be interested in becoming an auditory neuroscientist, researching how the human brain processes and perceives sound to help improve the quality of life for many individuals. These are just a few possible STEM careers that currently exist.
Welcome to the NIHERST Fab Lab, the first Fab Lab in Trinidad and Tobago, a place where ideas meet reality. At the Fab Lab, we assist individuals and businesses with the development of their product or service through the use of design software such as Inkscape or FreeCAD and manufacturing machines like 3D printers or laser cutters. Some of the careers that are associated with Fab Labs are entrepreneurs who use the Fab Lab to develop their product or service, graphic designers who model or produce prototypes of their design, artisans who create products out of their designs, teachers who introduce their students to digital fabrication. Although Fab Labs do not have a predetermined field of study, there are some subject areas which can assist someone in a career at a Fab Lab, such as mathematics, physics, electronics, and computer science.
Thank you for giving us your undivided attention. We hope we were able to enlighten and encourage some of you to pursue careers in STEM. As science, technology, and innovation continues to evolve and progress into the next century, you may be the next pioneer in a groundbreaking scientific discovery. The sky is the limit.
I hope that you all enjoyed that presentation and that video. Going to note, Christopher, that presentation was a team effort from staff from different departments to mention, just to mention a few events and planning, library, services, project management, Fab Lab, and science education. So just to prove, the point that was made in the presentation, that science communication taps into different disciplines. I hope you guys have been informed, and hopefully you have some questions you'd like to ask us. So I'll pass it back to the moderators so they can give us any questions that may have arisen from the presentation. Thanks for listening.
All right, thank you. So students, use this opportunity to send in your questions. You can place them on YouTube, or you can send it to any of the WhatsApp numbers that you received before. I'm sure that you have a lot of questions from this wonderful presentation. In the meantime, Mr. Prout and Ms. Bello, if you all have anything else you want to share with students in the meantime, while we wait for questions, you could feel free to do so as well.
Sure. Well, one of the things, from my experience from working at NIHERST and the Fab Lab, is that persons should always walk with a small notebook. This is important because sometimes you get inspiration for different ideas in the most odd places, and having a little notebook to jot down these ideas can help you in recalling them later on, because an idea could come and go just as fast as it can.
In my experience working here at NIHERST and at the Science Center, you learn to appreciate that everything has value and no task or job is insignificant. In my years working here, I have learned to type, and that was a skill I did not come into the institution with. I learned to do a bit of graphic arts. I have used interior decorating skills to create backdrops for puppet shows and things like that. So there is no subject area that is not important or cannot be utilized in a meaningful way.
Hi, good day. I have a question from a student pertaining to robotics. What are some of the careers they can get involved with using robotics?
Right. Well, robotics is a wide field right now as we're in the digital age of the 21st century. So some of the careers could be in the manufacturing sector as they are incorporating a lot more robotics into the assembly lines so that it would ease the time it takes to produce certain products. If persons were to look internationally, Elon Musk would have created gigafactories where mostly robots are assembling the factory itself, and they're using the same robotics to develop the cars. Also, robotics also goes into the information technology as well. So as well as being a robotic or mechanical engineer, you can also go into electrical engineering, or you can go into information systems or the programming that goes behind the robot.
Okay, afternoon. I have a question here on animation. How do you all do the animation courses?
We do not do animation courses per se, but we do have camps that introduce students to animation where they can get a taste of what it's like, what it entails, to know if that is something they truly want to get into.
We also offer workshops in relation to Scratch and some of the graphics software. So in using the Scratch program, persons would learn the concepts or the parts in developing a little animation or a game. And they can then further use this as a stepping stone to develop or go into other software to develop their own programs.
So we have a few students who are saying that your jobs are really interesting. They really find that you all have exciting jobs. Yeah.
There's never a dull moment here at NIHERST at the National Science Center. There is always something going on.
One of the good things I would say from looking at the Science Center is that because there are multiple departments that are related to science and technology, you get to experience a little bit of the different fields that you may not have studied, but you get exposure through the activities that are conducted. So some of the things that I may not have studied directly, such as the astronomy side of the Science Center, when they have the astronomy nights and through the planetarium displays that they have at the Science Center. This has also allowed me to engage in areas that I wouldn't normally have access to. So I would say working at the Science Center allows you opportunities to have different opportunities in relation to your exposure to science and technology.
That's so good. All right. So can you all share with students a contact number or an email address or a website that they could go to get some information if they require so?
They can go at marketing@nihers.gov.tt. They would take most of the requests that come into the organization and then they would disseminate it to the various departments. Right? There's also the website, which is nihers.gov.tt. Right? So you can go on that webpage and you will have all the information related to NIHERST, its programs, and the activities we are currently conducting.
You can also follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all right, to get more information and to see some of what we are doing. We're always posting information that you may be interested in.
All right, excellent. So I don't think students have any more questions at this point. So if you all have anything else to share, you could feel free to do so. If not, Ms. Beatrice, you had a question you wanted to raise? Okay.
A student is asking if any of your courses can assist them in doing engineering in the future.
We have programs, even when we do these summer camps, or there are Fab Lab specific workshops into the different technologies that we use at the Fab Lab, such as the 3D printer, the laser cutters. We also deal with CAD, which is computer aided design. So if you have a student who is looking to go into engineering, where they will be exposed to these technologies, when we do conduct the workshops, they will get that exposure here at this early age, where they can then apply it later on when they go on to further study. So yes, we do have some programs in terms of the workshops that we do offer, which can give persons a basic exposure into these areas that they can use to further themselves when they go to a particular field of study.
Okay, and they're asking if the certification, will it be accredited so that they could move on to the next level?
Well, we don't provide accredited certification. So we're not a training agency. So we give informal training in terms of, we give you the exposure to the technology and access to the equipment, but the actual certification comes from some of the other institutes that are actual training agencies, such as like MIC or NIHERST, or if you go to like UE and stuff like that, or UTT.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh.
All right, so I think we have come to the end of this segment. We have about 1 minute or so. But basically, I know you all shared a whole lot of interesting information with our students. I am intrigued as well. I think your job is really exciting also. So we definitely want to say a hearty thank you to your team for sharing this information with us today. I think you piqued the interest of students, right? And even those who may look at this stream later on, they may be able to hear something that's really interests them and they can contact you. So NIHERST, we say thank you from the Student Support Services Division, Victoria Education District. We are so appreciative. So thank you once again.
And thanks for inviting us. We enjoyed speaking to the students, and we do hope that they will reach out to us with more questions and to visit us virtually, which will be coming very soon.
And also we are aware that we do have the Fab Lab services. Should they have any ideas that they would like to develop, they can always reach out to us and we'll be willing and more happy to help them develop their ideas.
Excellent, good stuff. Thank you so much. All right, students, so we have come to the end of our third exciting session for this evening. Please take a short break and come back on in a few minutes and we will continue on to our last session for today. All right. All right. So students, we want to thank you so much for holding on to this journey with us. Now for our final session for this evening, we have Lieutenant Manswell of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, and he's going to share some really good information with you. So now we would like to welcome Lieutenant Manswell to share. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, my name is Lieutenant Sharon Manswell. Public Affairs Officer for the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. I want to thank you for the invitation, and I hope that you enjoy my presentation this afternoon. What I will do first of all is show you some videos to just kind of give you some hype, get you excited about the Defense Force, and then I'll go into the presentation and I will discuss a bit of the history, the roles and responsibilities of the force, the entry requirements, the streams to join, and of course, a lot of persons want to know about the salary of the Defense Force, and I'll cover that as well as the retirement ages. So bear with me as I share my screen, and I will resume once the videos are completed. So displayed here is one of the capital assets of the defense of the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard. Basically, what it will look like while we are doing a coastal patrol. All right, the CG-25, TTS Speyside. this video here depicts what we do when an interceptor crew is on a high speed water chase to capture men who are trafficking drugs, contraband, even people, all right? It's called a boarding exercise. So those young men and women who like action, this is something for you to see. This is the Trinidad and Tobago Air Guard, who they are and what they do. Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force Reserves. All right. So I hope you enjoy those videos because I thought it was exciting. I hope you thought so too. And I will then go into the presentation that I have here. And then of course you could follow up any questions, comments, or anything that you want to ask, okay? So the Defense Force was established as a prerequisite condition to gain up independence from British rule. So the Defense Force, Land Force, and Maritime Force, which is the Regiment and Coast Guard, were established for Trinidad and Tobago as part of the requirements for Trinidad and Tobago to become an independent nation. All right, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force is made up of 4 formations: the Regiment, the Coast Guard, the Air Guard, and the Reserves. Right, and of course, we have a strength of over 5,000 service personnel, men and women. These are the flags that represent each formation. So if you go to our location and you see one of these flags, it represents one of the formations that is in that location. Right, our roles and responsibilities are, but not limited to, defend the sovereign good of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, assist the civil power in maintaining law and order, assist civil authorities in times of crisis or disaster, hurricanes, flooding, fire, perform ceremonial duties. Of course, you know, you do Independence Day parade, you do Borough Corporation parades. So that's part of our ceremonial duties. Of course, search and rescue, counter narcotics, safety of shipping in national waters, and the development of the national community. Right, the regiment, I'll get into the regiment. They were commissioned, as I said, on the 23rd of July, 1962. All right, so I'll display in some of the pictures here of some of the things that the regiment does: humanitarian aid, ceremony, training, parades, and so on. The Coast Guard was commissioned on August 27, 1962, with 6 officers and 42 ratings. Of course, I would have put a display of our assets and training and parades and so on. The Trinidad and Tobago Air Guard was commissioned on the 1st of August 2005. Prior to that, they were the Air Wing, part of the Coast Guard, which was established in 1966. But they got commissioned by the President on the 1st of August 2005 to be another formation in the Defense Force. Right, the reserves, of course, is a force multiplier formation. So in the event that the Defense Force needs additional manpower, the Defense Force reserves will step in. And they also have their roles in youth programs all across Trinidad and Tobago. And they were commissioned on the 26th of September, 1963. Right, these are the different careers in the regiment that persons who do apply or are desirous of joining the regiment. These are the various positions in the infantry, administration, logistics, and engineer areas. As you can see, it's wide open to various career paths within the Defense Force regiment. But similarly, in the Coast Guard, administration, operations, port security, engineering are some of the areas that you can work in. Of course, you could be someone as a writer, steward, seaman, for those who like the action and saw the interceptor chasing the boat just now. You could be a diver, radio operator, armorer is the person who deal with guns, intelligence, special naval unit, as you saw in the videos before. In the Air Guard, of course, it's focused on avionics, right? And aviation safety and so on. So persons who are desirous of joining the Air Guard is, of course, focused on aircraft mechanics and avionics, right? So I know UTT has a lot of programs there that are geared towards the Air Guard. So persons who are desirous of joining the Air Guard could look into those programs and have an opportunity to join the Air Guard as well. We are not limited to just persons who go out to sea and administration, clerks and divers and armorers and special naval and special forces, but we do have doctors, lawyers, nurses, engineers, pilots, logisticians, human resource management personnel that work in the Defense Force. There are 3 streams to join the force: an enlisted rank, officer cadet, or special service commissioned officer, and I will give you the breakdown. I will summarize what you see here in a few bullet points in the next slide. Right, so to join the Trinity Rail Defense Force as an enlisted rank, the age is 18 to 25. 5 CXC passes, maths and English compulsory. I repeat, maths and English compulsory. And any three other subjects that you have will fulfill that requirement. Although we are lenient towards persons who do not have all 5 subjects, but they must have maths and English. But if they have a technical certificate from a recognized institution, we will consider your application to join the Defense Force. As an officer cadet, the requirements, education requirements is a little bit higher, of course, with A-levels or CAPE subjects or associate or bachelor's degree. Even though there are persons who join the Defense Force as an enlisted rank, some of those persons do have bachelor's degree, and it is an option to apply for commission once you are given, of course, the required recommendations and so on while in service, right? A special service commission officer like myself, the age is 24 to 42. So if there are still teachers around that, within that age bracket, and they decided that they want to leave teaching service, you can still apply until 42, right? And of course, the education requirements is a bit higher with a master's degree or a bachelor's degree. And of course, working experience in the relevant field that you are applying for. All right, this is just, I know it's look busy, but it's just a slide that shows you the equivalency of the rank structure across the Defense Force formations. My rank is a lieutenant, so my similar rank in the structure will be a captain in the regiment or a flight lieutenant in the Air Guard. And similarly on the enlisted rank, a corporal will be a leading rate, or corporal, of course, in the Air Guard as well. Career officers who are appointed, Vice Chief of Defense Staff or Chief of Defense Staff are appointed these ranks here that are above the ranks that I showed you before. Currently, our substantive Chief of Defense Staff, he is now an Air Vice Marshal. He was promoted 2 Fridays ago. That's Air Vice Marshal Darrell Daniel. Right, and these are career officers that start as in the stream of an officer cadet and would have gone through promotions from officer cadet straight up to Major General, Rear Admiral, or Air Vice Marshal. Right, these are the retirement ages for persons who join the force. Right, a junior non-commissioned officer up to the rank of a corporal leading rate 45. Non-commissioned officer, senior non-commissioned officer to the rank of a sergeant or a petty officer or staff sergeant, 47. Non-commissioned officer up to the rank of warrant officer 2 or chief petty officer or warrant officer 1 or fleet chief petty officer, that age is 50. My rank up to which is lieutenant, and the rank above mine, which is the major lieutenant commander or squadron leader, 47. So even if I get promoted tomorrow, I will be still going home at 47. Right? I'll probably look to come and teach afterwards. Who knows? If one of the teachers say I'm good enough to teach, right? Beyond that, the commissioned officer up to the rank of a lieutenant colonel, which is one above the major, is 50, and the rank above that is 55. Right? Now, even though we have a current Air Vice Marshal, no matter how high he got in his rank, he will go home at 55. These are the salary ranges. Please note that salaries are paid to members of the Defense Force for 365 days of the year. So we get paid for every day. But this is just the basic salary that you will receive when you join the work as a non-commissioned officer. To a senior non-commissioned officer, and then of course if you're a commissioned officer, this is the lowest basic to the highest basic. Now there are allowances that you receive in between for marriage, rent allowance. There's a special duty that you have received based on previous governments. So, and there are allowances that would of course add to your basic salary so that you'll be able to go with a decent enough paycheck. All right, this brings me to the end of my presentation. I do hope you enjoyed. I'm open now for any comments and questions. Thank you.
All right, so students, please feel free to send any of your questions to the WhatsApp numbers, or you can also post them on the YouTube channel. All right, Lieutenant Manswell is waiting to answer your questions.
So a student wants to know, Lieutenant Manswell, which branch of the Defense Force would you consider most dangerous?
Most
Lieutenant Manswell is
dangerous.
waiting to answer your questions.
I wouldn't say, sorry about that. I wouldn't say that any formation is more dangerous than any other. But I would just say that the risk is the same. Once you join the Defense Force, the risk is the same because there is action everywhere. I'll just leave it at that.
Someone else wants to know if there's a height requirement or required height to join the Defense.
No height requirement. If you're short, it's okay. Once you can meet the physical requirements, you will be considered as an applicant, yes. Find these form trees shy.
Someone asked if you are very stressful, if you are stressed all the time.
No, there are stressful situations, particularly if there's a requirement for an operation that stops your leave, which means that you're unable to go home based on the requirement that you have to just pick up and go to. So other than that, I don't think it's a stressful environment. I think once you do what you're supposed to do what is right, continue along the path of following your instructions, of course, the legal instructions, you should be fine. I don't think it's a stressful job. I mean, there are times when you'll be away from your family if you're deployed to another country for assistance, disaster relief assistance, and so on. But I mean, it's rewarding at the end of it.
A student is asking, how long is the training?
6 months minimum, 4 to 6 months. Depends on the stream you go to. So for me, it was 3 months as a special service commission officer. As an officer cadet, it could range from 6 months to a year. And as a enlisted rank, 4 to 6 months. Anything else?
All right, so a student is asking, beside maths and English, what other subjects are required to join?
There's no specific subject requirements joining the enlisted ranks. Basic five subjects. It could be biology, it could be chemistry, physics, technical drawing, social studies, anything. Once you meet the 5 requirements, 5 subject requirements. But maths and English, of course, compulsory.
Another student wants to know how long does training last and what is the hardest part of training?
4 to 6 months for enlisted ranks. As an officer cadet, between 6 months to a year. And as a special service commission officer, I trained for 3 months. The hardest part of training really is just that physical aspect of the training is the hardest part, where, of course, you will be doing things that you haven't done before your entire life. So it's all about mental fortitude when you get into training, and being able to know that within yourself you could overcome this stage of the process. Now, I mean, once you get through with training, our training is intended to break it down and build it back up. And once you get through to that, you get through with that, you should be fine. Remember, we're taking you from the civilian world to military, right? So that's what we do.
So a student is asking if he or she is in the cadets or the scouts, if that will be an asset to get enrolled.
Yes, it will be an asset. It's not a guarantee, but your application will be at an advantage to others.
So a student is asking, beside training, if you all do classes there also.
Yeah, a lot of classes, because you don't just have people running up and down mountains and, you know, swimming and hiking and all these different things. You have to learn what the organization is about. So we have a lot of classroom sessions as well that will give you all the information you require to know about the organization, from personal files, the processes, you know, the various aspects of the job. So it's not all about physical, also classroom sessions.
So a student is asking, how often do you all advertise for new recruits, and also women are afforded the opportunity to join equally as men?
All right, so vacancies are only advertised on the approval of the Ministry of National Security. It may happen yearly, it may happen by every other year. So there's no stipulated time where we advertise. You just have to keep looking out for the ads. I would say, however, a little insight into when to look out. At the end of each financial year, when the new budget is read, look out for the Defense Force may advertise around that time, right? As it relates to females joining the job, there's no gender bias in the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. Females are open to join, open to apply for the Defense Force. The requirements will be the same. The physical requirements will be the same. I mean, we don't expect all females. There will be some. We don't expect all females to be as physically strong as men. There are some that are, but there's no bias in what the requirements are to join the Defense Force. Women are open to do so.
All right, I don't know if you could give insights into this, but a student wants to know, what is the hardest training or hardest drill that you all may give?
You see, that's different for different people, because somebody could do 1,000 push-ups and some persons could do 2. Some persons like to hike. Some persons like to run. Some persons don't like to run or hike. They like to drill rather than run. So it really depends on the person and their abilities when training begins. So for me, my weakest point was swimming, and of course I developed that over time, and so now I'm a better swimmer and so on. So it really depends on the individual. There's no one thing I could answer that by.
Great. Well, so what comes after training, after the 6-month training or so? What comes after?
You are then assigned to the various departments that you would have applied for. You pass out, of course, and then once you pass out, you go into your regular job every day. I mean, it's once you get in and you start to work, it's no longer a training element, is you start the job, you know? So that's the next step.
Will you be able to share how a student could go about joining the cadets?
Honestly, I cannot give an answer that I believe will be accurate, but I can look into that and send a response through the coordinator on that aspect of it. So I don't want to give you information that I'm not totally aware of.
So a student is asking if they still have to undergo the training if they would like to work in a specialized field like a part of the music band or as a cook or something like that.
Yeah,
If they would still have to do the training.
Everybody trains. No matter what field, what career path you're gonna take, you will do the same exact basic training as the man who is a cook and the man who going to jump off a boat. Same training.
All right, so there are lots of different questions. I'm trying to see them all. Okay, so what is the highest rank in the military, in the Defense Force?
Major General, Rear Admiral, or Air Vice Marshal.
Some students are asking, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, so some students are asking what's the age to enter, and you would have mentioned already that it's 18, right?
Yeah, 18, yeah.
Right, so even if they are finished with Form 5, they are 18 and they get the 5 passes, they can apply.
Yeah, up to the age of 25. So even if they had a job, prior to deciding that they want to join the Defense Force and they're 23, 24, they could still apply.
So a student is asking whether or not the Defense Force pays for any form of higher education.
All right, we call it in-service training, but that's based on whether there's a requirement for a particular skill set that they need, right? There's also something called resettlement, where persons who are about to leave the organization, they have the option to receive funding from the Defense Force to achieve their educational goal, higher educational goal on their way out of the organization.
A student is asking, why is there a cutoff age of 42 for the commissioned special service officers? Let's say his father is 50 years old and wants to change his job. Why can't he?
Well, they say 42 allows you to work, if you don't get promoted above the rank of a lieutenant commander, allows you to work 5 years, and you would get a gratuity for that period of time. So usually, this is the first time I've been asked that question, but usually persons don't go beyond the rank of a lieutenant commander before 5 years. So that is probably why they cut it off at that time, and then you'll be paid a gratuity, and then you proceed to the next stage of your journey.
All right, so we have a question. What's the difference between the job of a police officer and of someone in the Defense Force?
Powers of arrest. We don't have powers of arrest. in the Defense Force? Basic, that is just the basic answer, powers of arrest. Now we could accompany, we have interagency task force that we accompany police officers on operations and so on, but we don't have a powers of arrest.
All right, great.
Someone wants to know if you need to have a low haircut to enter the Defense Force.
You will be shaved. Your head will not have any hair on it when you're recruited into the Defense Force. Once you've completed training, you could grow a hair. But from day one, no hair until training is finished.
That applies to women too?
No. Women, oh gosh, we ain't gonna cut the women here. No, not for women, but they will be asked to keep it in a ponytail, you know, no colorful hairstyles and braids and, you know, simple ponytail for the duration of training.
So someone is asking if they go into the service between the ages of 35 to 40 and they're going in with a degree, if they still have to undergo the 6 months training.
4 months, 3 to 4 months. That's my stream. I went in as a 33-year-old. So it's 3 to 4 months max. And it's more or less a lot of classroom sessions, physical requirements, of course, but not as intense as the other streams.
A student wants to know, just like how they see on movies with the armies, where they are shouting at one another, if you all speak to one another the same way.
I would say that there are times when instructors may raise their voices to get across a point, but it's all part of the process.
Okay, so Lieutenant Manswell, I think we have a few other questions, but it's now 4 p.m. Can you advise the students where they will be able to find out more information about the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force?
Okay, great. So we have our Facebook pages, each formation plus the Defense Force headquarters, each have their Facebook pages. Their email addresses and telephone contact numbers are there on their Facebook pages as well. You could always also send your comments on the Facebook page. You could also call this number 634-1996, 634-1996, and you will be directed, and the phone will be answered by a public affairs officer there, and you could ask some of your questions once you have the time to you know, give us that opportunity to talk to you.
Okay, great. I just want to squeeze in one last one before you go. Wow. Okay, so students are asking, is there a demand for women in the Defense Force?
It's open to both genders. We encourage females to apply to the Defense Force. We do encourage them. So we are pushing towards equality, you know, better equality of how the way women are viewed across the board in the Defense Force and the tasks that they do, the operations, whatever the case may be. But we do encourage women to join the force.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Manswell. I think students really enjoyed your presentation. And we just want to say thank you for coming and sharing with our students. So from the Student Support Services Division, Victoria Education District, all our students, our staff in the district, we want to say a hearty thank you to you and to the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force for allowing you to come and share this exciting information with us today. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me and the courtesy of your attention, and I look forward to another session in the future.
Great. Thank you. All right.
Bye.
Take care. All right, students. So this brings us to the end of the third day of our virtual career fair. We look forward to seeing you for the last day of our career fair tomorrow, please God. Same time, same link, right? Come on, interact with the presenters via your questions and learn about different careers that are available to you in Trinidad and Tobago. Be safe and we'll see you tomorrow, please God. Good evening.